Hello my friends, and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing a book haul. I went about 2 months without buying books consistently, which is pretty decent for me, but I broke it and now I'm buying books again. So yeah, here are some of the books that I've recently bought. I have 12 books to show you all and talk about and get excited over. I actually have another order on the way, but they are not here yet. Maybe you'll be seeing another book haul in the future. I make no promises, no guarantees, but you can probably make it a safe bet that I will be doing another book haul in the semi-near future. I have a few books to talk about. I'm very excited about these, and yeah, I'm just excited to show you all what I've got and just gush over new books that I'm really excited about. The first book that I picked up is actually a Fear Street book. I've been wanting to collect more Fear Street books because I love R.L. Stine, and this one I just feel like is absolutely perfect for summer, and that is Party Summer. It literally says summer in the name, in the title. I've been seeing this one so much over the last few months, and I kept trying to remind myself to pick it up, and I finally got it. So this book is actually about these friends that end up working at the Howling Wolf Inn. It's an old hotel off of a little island, and it's extremely deserted when they get there, and the owner is super mysterious and kind of like odd, and then the owner's brother shows up and more weird stuff happens, and then it says that the walls and faucets begin to drip blood. So I don't know what kind of ride I'm in for with this, but it sounds extremely fun, and I will read anything by R.L. Stine. So I just really want to read this. I think it's going to be a fun, easy little summer read, and yeah, I'm just really excited to get to this one. The next book that I got is The Laws of the Skies, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to try to pronounce this author's name because it's French. I have a hard time with names, so I'm going to probably butcher this if I even attempt it, so I am not going to attempt it until I look up how to correctly pronounce this, because I don't know a thing about the French language. I really don't. So this is actually a translated work. I'm very excited. I love reading translated books. It's some of my favorite stuff to read. So I've never read, not that I'm aware of, I don't think I've ever read a book that was French translated into English. So I think this will be fun. So this book is about a class of 6-year-olds that go camping in the forest and weird things happen. I don't really know what this book is actually about. I've heard it's very dark, very gruesome, very disturbing. But other than that, I don't really know. I'm not sure what to expect with this one, except that it is pretty dark and messed up, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, I don't know. I can't wait to read it. Next up is a book that I have been dying to get my hands on for months. It keeps going in and out of stock. It's been sold out for a really long time, but it is Ring by Koji Suzuki, and this is the book that the movie The Ring is based on, and I am so excited. I love the Japanese movie Ringu. It's one of my favorites. I much prefer it to the American remake, but yeah, I've just watched it so many times, and I would love to see what the book is like. I just want to see what is different. I want to compare them. I don't know. I want to compare all three, really. I want to read this, then watch the Japanese version and the American version. I think that would be very interesting. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just very excited to finally have my hands on this and finally get to read it. And I just love reading Japanese horror. It's some of my absolute favorite. So I'm just happy to add this to my list. Okay, next up is a book that I bought solely for the cover. Are we surprised? You shouldn't be. That's kind of my whole thing. And that is The Doctor's Demons by Maria Abrams. Look at this cover. It's very vintagey, very old school horror paperback, which I really like, and it's what drew me to the book. I I think I read the plot finally after I already bought it. I was just really excited about the cover, and so I was just like, I'll figure it out when I get it because I want to own it. So I actually haven't heard too much about this book, but I've heard everyone that's read it has really enjoyed it and they said it's a lot of fun. It's about this child psychiatrist who learns how to get rid of demons, exorcise demons. She encounters a child who has like a really powerful demon possessing him, and it turns out that like the demons of hell are mad at this child psychiatrist for, I guess, you know, exorcising them and like stopping them from doing whatever they want. So they're here to like seek revenge is what I've gathered from the back of the book. I think it sounds kind of funny. It sounds like it's going to be a little bit like, maybe a little campy. I don't know. It sounds a little fun. I think it's going to be good. And that cover is just absolutely gorgeous. The next book was actually sent to me by one of you, and thank you so much, Linda. You are so sweet. I appreciate it so much. And it was Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. Now, I've actually read this book. I just didn't own it, and it is one of my favorite thrillers of all time. Jennifer Hillier is one of my favorite authors of all time. I will read anything that she writes. I think she's amazing, and I'm just trying to collect all of her books. I'm trying to collect every single one. I just want all of them in my possession. I think her writing is just brilliant. I love her stories. I just think her thrillers are very underhyped and underappreciated. So honestly, I'm so excited to have a copy of Little Secrets because this was my first book by her, and it just like ignited my real love for thrillers. So thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate it more than you even know, but I literally am so happy to have this. I'm so happy to have this. I love this book so much. Next up is a book that I actually also bought because of the cover. Are we surprised? You shouldn't be. It is These Ghosts Bleed by Christy Aldridge, I believe is how you say that. Look at how stunning this is. Absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. The artwork is gorgeous. I have no idea what this book is about. I have no idea. I don't even think I've read the plot, but this has been on my wish list for so long because the cover is so beautiful. I think I saw someone talking about this and they said it was super dark, which excites me a lot. It excites me a lot. Okay, so from the back of the book, it sounds like it's about this woman who ends up committing suicide, and her husband is very angry about this, and he decides to seek revenge on his late wife by taking all the books that she wrote and never published and basically publishing them under his own name and taking credit for them. And it sounds like his late wife is going to become very angry about this and maybe like come back and haunt him, take revenge, teach him a lesson. I'm not really sure, but it sounds very messed up, honestly. It sounds very sad. I love a revenge story though, so you know, I think that's gonna be really good. But this cover, chef's kiss, absolutely stunning. Okay, next up is a romance, and this is a new release, and it is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. You know I had to get this. I'm on a romance journey right now, and everyone's been talking about it. Okay, everyone says really good things about this book so far, and I'm very excited about it. The two main characters are a literary agent and an editor, and it sounds like they have a whole enemies to lovers thing going on in this book, which I'm very excited about. I don't really know too much. I don't really care. It's a romance. It's Emily Henry. It's a new release. I'm excited. Okay, next up is a book that I've heard very little about. I really don't know much about this book. I just, like, I don't know. I don't know why I got it. Can't explain it. Just did it. And it is called Indigo Ridge by Devney Perry. I think that's how you pronounce their name. I am not sure. But this is like a romance mystery kind of vibe. So this is about the main character who becomes the new chief of police in this small town, and she's trying to show that she earned her place and she's, you know, supposed to be this new chief of police or whatever. And I guess people have like an issue with it because I think her grandfather is like the mayor or something like that. And she has like a thing with this rugged guy in the town. I really don't know a lot about this if you can't gather that, but I'm assuming he's the love interest. And then there's like a mystery that needs to be solved. I think people are gonna end up dead. I don't know, but romance and mystery, count me in, okay? Suspense, mystery, thrillers with romance, I'm very into it. So yeah, I think this could be a lot of fun. I really don't know too much about it. I'm going in a little blind. I think it sounds awesome and fun, and I don't know, I think it should just be a good time. Next up is a book by an author I've never read, but I've been seeing this author all over my Instagram. People have been raving about this author's work. I've never picked anything up and I'm very excited. This plot is also going to be very hard to describe on YouTube because I want to stay monetized. So let's give it a whirl. And that is Saving Noah by Lucinda Berry. So this book is about a mother-son relationship, and this son has a reputation for being an honor roll student, you know, straight A's, good kid. Yeah. However, it has just been discovered that during swim practice, he has been doing things to little girls. And he was sentenced to 18 months in a juvenile rehabilitation center, and the mom is going to stand by her son throughout the whole ordeal. I believe on the back it compares this to We Need to Talk About Kevin. So the mom's just going to refuse to turn her back on her son despite what he's been doing. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting book to read about. It's going to be very content heavy. This is going to have content warnings and trigger warnings just probably a mile long, so it's going to be a very intense read. I'm sure a lot of people will not want to read it, but I think it sounds very fascinating and I want to see how the author does it. I just am very interested because this author is a trauma psychologist, so I think that is very, very cool. So it'll be my first Lucinda Berry. I'm very excited. Let me know if you've read it and how you felt about it. Okay, the next 3 books are all new releases as well, and I'm very excited for all 3 of these. The first one is Hidden Pictures by Jason Riculak. I don't know how to say this person's name. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. I don't know though. This was actually one of my 2022 anticipated releases. So this book is about this babysitter who starts this new job, and the kid that she starts babysitting starts drawing these pictures, and they progressively start getting more and more like creepy and sinister. They involve like the body of a woman who is no longer alive, and she starts to think that this kid is drawing pictures of like an unsolved murder. So I'm very excited. It's gonna have like a creepy kid sort of thing, because creepy pictures, that's gonna be terrifying. I just think this could be really creepy but also really cool, just because I want to know like, why is the child drawing the pictures? You know, like, is it an unsolved murder? Is it like just the kid being like really creepy? I don't know. I really, really want to know what this book is about. I think it sounds so exciting. It is one of my anticipated releases for this year, and it's been getting good praise, so I cannot wait to read this one. The next and second to last book is The Children on the Hill by Jennifer McMahon. So I've only read one Jennifer McMahon, which was The Winter People. I absolutely loved it. I have The Drowning Kind. I have not read it yet, but I've been seeing a lot of people talking about this one. A lot of people have said that it's been really, really good, and I honestly don't know what this is about. I saw on the inside cover that it's like inspired by Frankenstein, which I love Frankenstein, one of my favorite classic horror novels of all time. From what I was reading about it, because I just quickly I just quickly glanced over it because like I said, I just kind of bought it. I didn't really care what it was about. Just heard people talking about it. I knew I wanted it. This is going to be a dual timeline, 1978 and 2019. And basically what this book is about this psychiatrist who is also a grandmother, and one day she brings home this child to stay with her family, and she doesn't behave like a normal child would. Her grandchildren take this new girl in and they, you know, become friends. They start playing together. And then in 2019, this woman named Lizzie Shelley is the host of a popular podcast, Monsters Among Us, and she travels to Vermont where a young girl has been abducted and a monster sighting has the town in an uproar. And that's that. I don't know, but it sounds very intriguing. It sounds very good. I think I'm gonna like it a lot, and everyone's talking about it and I feel left out and I want to read it really bad. The last book in this haul is The Fervor by Alma Katsu. I am so freaking excited for this book. I own The Deep by Alma Katsu. I have yet to read it. I really want to buy The Hunger as well. I know a lot of people have told me that The Deep and The Hunger are kind of boring and they didn't really get on with them or like vibe with them, and I kind of understand because I'm not a huge fan of historical fiction. It's not really my kind of genre, but I do feel like historical fiction mixed with horror could work in my favor, and I'm really interested in the topics that Alma Katsu does talk about, like the Titanic, the Donner Party, and now this with the Japanese internment camps from World War II. I'm just very interested in the topics that she is covering. I feel like there's potential for me to really enjoy them. Like I said, I haven't really read any of her books yet. I think this one might be my all-time favorite. I mean, I'm saying that. I haven't read any yet, but this one stands out to me as the one that could be the best. So I obviously had to read the plot because I actually didn't know what the plot is. I just know what this book kind of has going on in it. Not in terms of plot, just like a little detail, which is why I bought it, which I will tell you about in a second. But this book takes place in 1944 during World War II, and it's about this mother and daughter who are sent to an internment camp in the Midwest. But while they're there, a disease begins to spread in the internment camp. It starts off as just like a little cold, and then it becomes spontaneous fits of violence and aggression, and then like death. So this is actually inspired by Japanese yokai, and it entails the spider demon, which, let me just tell you, if you didn't know, I am deathly afraid of spiders. They terrify me. I literally cry and scream. I have a panic attack every time I see one. It's actually very traumatizing, but it's actually kind of debilitating for me. If there is a spider in my vicinity, I can't function. I can't kill it. I don't know how. Like, it's a lot. Like, I'm kind of embarrassing. I know that. What better way to traumatize myself and to actually scare the living crap out of myself than to read a book with a spider demon in it? Yeah, I mean, is it kind of like self-inflicted torture? Sure. But you know, I look for these books to scare the living crap out of me, and if I have to do it with spiders, you know, then here we are. I've hit rock bottom. But I'm just very excited about this one. I think it sounds so good. The cover is absolutely gorgeous. So gorgeous. It's actually kind of short too. I was surprised because The Deep is a very long book. So I didn't know how long this book was going to be. I wasn't really paying attention. But it's not that long. So I'm kind of excited. I think I might have to bump this one up early in my reading because I'm very interested. I've heard good things about it. So I'm excited. And there you have it, my friends. There is my little haul. The first haul in like 2 months. I'm very proud of myself. I am very very proud of myself. Okay, this is a long time that I went without buying books, and now I feel like it's all downhill from here now. I've started buying them again. You know, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna not be able to stop again. But, you know, there's so many new releases coming out. The order that's on its way to me has Just Like Mother by Anne Heltzel, I think is how you pronounce that name. Hide by Kirsten White is about to come out. There's so many books about to come out, and I just know that I'm gonna have to get them. And, you know, new releases are my downfall. So yeah, I will be obviously making more book purchases in the coming weeks. So if you want to see another haul anytime soon, you know, let me know in the comments. Give this video a like, you know. That way I know you want to see me talk about books, you know, and talk about these books that led to my downfall of ruining my no-buy. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, obviously give it a like. I just said that. Let me know if you've read any of these. I know some of you have already told me that you have read these and that you were enjoying them, so feel free to leave a comment and let me know. Let me know if you want to hear my thoughts on any book in particular, and yeah, or if you want me to look into buying another book. You know, if you have any recommendations, if you want to hear my thoughts on a book, you know, leave it down below. Leave me a comment. I can, you know, I guess I can buy another book, you know. I guess for you all I could, you know, for the channel's sake, not because I like buying books or anything like that. Of course not. Of course not. But anything for you all, obviously, you know. I do it for you, not for me. Of course not. Not for me. I would never buy books for myself. That's just crazy. So, anyways, if you haven't subscribed already, feel free to do so. We can become friends, talk about books, breaking no-buys, you know, the usual stuff. And with that being said, I hope you are having a lovely day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!